Liverpool fan in Japan.
Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan, the Miyazaki man Sai. Alrighty, we've seen the Nunez skerfuffle in the Uruguay versus Colombia matchup. However, it looks as though he may escape a club ban. It looks as though internationally he will get sanctioned, he will get fined, he will get banned. But will it stretch into the local Premier League? Yet to be seen, because it's up to the FA if they want to extend the ban and the sanctions into the local competition. Fingers crossed, I hope not. He needs a full pre-season and hit the ground running in the Premier League, because he could hit the metric heights. Do you remember when Suarez was banned, he came back like an absolute madhouse on fire, unleashed all his pent-up rage and aggression onto the pitch. I feel sorry for Nuñez in a way, because he was truly emotional afterwards, cradling his son. Those images pull on the heartstrings. He shouldn't have done it. Let me clarify. There's no world in where you go fisticuffs with the fans. Go in there, put yourself in danger, put your national team in danger, put opposition fans in danger. You definitely don't throw a chair at the opposition, but some people will go to the nth degree to defend the rights and honour of their family. Hey ho, is what it is. I'm not playing it down. I don't condone it, but at the same time, I can understand it. So let's look at Liverpool's front line options. Cody Gakpo played in a false nine position for Jurgen Klopp, tried to imitate Roberto Firmino, didn't quite fit. He's tried in midfield as well, didn't quite fit, but he's been absolutely outstanding on the left wing, and he even said himself, he is a left winger, cutting inside, shooting across goal, delivering a whipped cross to the back post, going around the outside. He's probably the best on the left wing at going around the outside as well, considering Lucho Diaz can go around the outside, but doesn't have an end product there. He always hits the first man, goes off for a corner, or comes back. Lucho Diaz is great as a dribbler, best dribbler in our team. However, his end product is severely lacking. We hope he can get an extra marginal percentage, 5% more clinical, would really do the job, because he had so many opportunities to win games last season, similar to Mo Salah. Which Mo Salah will turn up? Will it be the great Egyptian king running down the wing of old, scoring, hitting the heights and playmaking? He's now a playmaking wide forward. He is not a traditional winger. I wouldn't even call him an inverted forward anymore, because he doesn't always cut in to shoot across goal. He's lacking that a little bit of acceleration and pace to get away from the defender. He definitely doesn't go around the outside. In fact, Harvey Elliott I'd back to go around the outside more than Mo Salah. He's an interesting option as well. Harvey Elliott, a pseudo Mo Salah in the making. He's been mentored and tutored by Mo Salah, left foot cutting inside, but he's a bit more playmaker from out wide as well, and he can go more centrally and play through the lines, because he obviously was a right-sided number 8, alternating with Henderson in that role, alternating with James Milner, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, even Stefan Bajcetic. We have options up front. Darwin Nunez is our out-and-out number 9 striker. He will be a starting number 9. It'll be between Lucho Diaz and Cody Gakpo on the left, and Diogo Jota, right, should be the starting number 9 in terms of being clinical, be able to revert into the wide positions, going both sides, probably more effective on the left. He's two-footed. This is something that's really, really positive about Diogo Jota. He's two-footed. We haven't had a real two-footed shooter since prime Sadio Mane, who could do it on the right wing. Came as a right winger, outstanding, probably player of the season, cutting inside against Arsenal, shooting with his left. Mane would tell you he shoots better with his left, but his right foot is equally as deadly. And I would think that he's right-footed naturally, but he shoots well with his left, because considering the balance he's at, he gets a lot of power on the left and a bit more accurate on the right. But Mane was also a monster, absolute monstrous in the air. Bang, headed goal, right? Our headed threat comes from the left-hand side. Diogo Jota cutting in, Darwin Nunez, Cody Gakpo. Diogo Jota, as I mentioned, is absolutely underrated in the air, because him and Sadio Mane aren't the tallest, but they're absolute monsters in the air, like Endo. Leaping like a spring salmon in the air, and Mane presses like a monster, Jota presses like a monster. Lucho Diaz does press, but isn't as effective, quite effective in the press. He drops deeper as well and really helps out the back line. Mo Salah is a little bit the odd one out, but he is a metric goal king, so he deserves his place. The new bold Mo Salah means business. Have you seen his abs? It's like a river Nile running down the abs. You can fit many, many objects in that little crevice right there. It's like a valley. I love how fit he looks. However, Henderson came back looking fit last season and he shipped off to Saudi Arabia. Hope that's not a sign of things to come. But Mo Salah really depends on which Mo Salah turns up. If he is going to be our main key man player from out wide, the wide playmaker, then really Trent has to dominate the right-hand side channel alongside Szoboszlai, whipping the balls to give us the wide threat as well, because we can't congest the play in there. The right-sided overload has been our strength for many, many seasons. Henderson, Trent, Salah, triangles, working together, going out wide, whipping it in, getting Salah into half space, that kind of thing. But I think the predominant signing we really need to look at is a backup for Mo Salah, an alternative for Mo Salah. I've done the Takefusa Kubo video already, because they are similar, diminutive, wide playmakers, right? They're not the bursting winger. They've got that hint of acceleration and pace, but they're not going to beat for pace, right? And Diogo Jota and Darwin Nunez look a little bit like a fish out of water on the right-hand side. Lucho Diaz can do a job as well, but they're not predominantly right wingers. So if you want a wide playmaker, you're looking at Takefusa Kubo. You know, this kind of Fabrizio Miccoli role, right? The kind of diminutive player going out wide, cutting aside, playmaking from central positions. Dominic Szoboszlai can go out wide and invert out wide to make sure he can cross the ball and be effective out there as well because he's got physicality. He has underrated pace as well. He's quite fast, but we could be doing with a right winger who's out and out, able to beat the man with pace with Tekers as well. Many calls for Somerville at Leeds because obviously they didn't get promoted. Many calls for Bakayoko as well. Belgian international, wonder kid, high potential, but he's a little bit of a tank out wide and is not the most subtle. And I think Doku is a little bit more mature and has more end product. So Bakayoko would be a work in progress. And can we really afford that transition? In that way, he's like a Ben Doak, and Ben Doak is really effective at going around the outside. He's our only true winger, I would say, in the squad who's naturally comfortable going around the outside and pulling it back in, because Ben Doak isn't the best crosser either, but he gets into those effective areas. There's been calls for Conor Bradley to play in that position as well, but Conor Bradley coming from deep really is more effective because he can tick-a-taka and play. When you're out wide there, you have less space to deal with and you can't build a head of steam to build that acceleration to drive at the opposition or drive into the space with aggression. You're kind of having to beat a man on a standing start sometimes or stand a man up. And I don't think Conor Bradley is the best dribbler at standing a man up. He's better on the run, on pace, taking it, and like a freight train, off you go. So left wing options are plenty. Darwin Nunez, Lucho Diaz, Cody Gakpo, all of which like to cut inside onto the right foot and work their magic. We don't have an out left-footed left winger. Harvey Elliott's role would be very interesting. I have a sneaky suspicion that he'll alternate with Mo Salah, but he'll also play left-sided 8 to give that natural balance with the left foot. We never saw that under Jurgen Klopp, but I think that will be a ploy to be played as well. Up front, Diogo Jota is the slotter, but can he keep fit? That's a big question mark in itself. Can Jota keep fit? Because if he does, our title challenge will be right up there, because Man City are faltering a little bit with their personnel wanting to leave. Julian Alvarez being the latest one, of course. Edison linked to Saudi Arabia. Walker on the decline. I'll make a separate video on that as well. But I think really we need a right wing option who could play centre forward as well. And let's look at potential names that could fit that position, because I really think we miss aerial dominance, aerial threat on the right hand side if Jota doesn't play there, because Mo Salah is not really good in the air. Sadio Mane is a monster in the air, but he transitioned to the left because of Mo Salah to fit them into the same team. So who can be that right winger who can back up for Mo Salah, rotate with Mo Salah, offer something different going around the outside, aerial threat as well, and can grow into the position and can play striker in occasion? Let's look into them right now. And I think Nico Williams is off to Barcelona, so let's scratch that off the table. Alrighty, webcam better than potato cam. Let's look at the striking option, shall we? Look, right winger, left winger. Let's put the rest of them on the bench. That's what we're concerned about, right? Let's forget about the others for now. Actually, he says he plays 4-3-3. Let's put 4-3-3. Okay, so in the absence of Darwin Nuñez, does our strike force hold up against the opposition? Is it enough to get us to victory? Now, if everyone is fit and on form, barring any radical tactical decisions, you're probably in all likelihood looking at something like this right now. It's a little bit up in the air whether it's going to be Diaz or Cody Gakpo starting on the left wing. One thing I want you to keep in mind, right? Cody Gakpo played amazing for Holland on the left wing, a little bit marginalised against England. He has the credentials to be a really effective Premier League player. He's got the mentality. He looks bang on form as well. He's banging them in. He could be top scorer, 3 goals I think, unless one of the others scores in the final. Harry Kane is going to be chomping at the bit to go for it as well. You can't always rely on tournament form. Salif Diao, El Hadj Diouf. Remember Milan Baros, we came into that season, right? Rafa Benitez's first season. Michael Owen, the wonder kid, Liverpool's own. Milan Baros, top scorer, Czech Republic. Him, Jan Koller, Karol Poborski, lots of players. Pavel Nedved, good Czech Republic team. Milan Baros, they weren't clinical goals, but they were team goals, and he was effective. But he's very one-dimensional, head down. In the Liverpool team, he was never going to be clinical, never going to consistently hit 20 goals, so you can't rely on that as well. We have Florence Cinema Pongo coming in, a new signing, Djibril Cissé, right? Coming from, was it Auxerre? Auxerre? I want to say Auxerre. Marseille Auxerre. I want to say Auxerre. He was Gerard Houlier's record signing, £10 million, I believe, thereabouts. Drogba came in the same season, Didier Drogba. And you never know how they're going to adapt to the Premier League. Cisse, Lord of Frodsham, gave it his all as well. Milan Baros coming from the Euros. Florence Pongo, one of the French gems with Le Talec coming in. Oh my goodness, French gems. But you never quite know. Michael Owen still would have outperformed everyone, but we won the Champions League that season. Says a lot. People who say, oh, but Michael Owen left he would have regretted it. How do you know we would have won the Champions League if he had stayed? But actually, he looked pretty good in pre-season. Did a turn, shoot and goal. I think it was against Celtic, correct me if I'm wrong. This is all from memory, by the way. So, never trust tournament form, because Cody Gakpo for the Holland and Netherlands is not the same as Cody Gakpo for Liverpool. But Cody Gakpo can be a great player for Liverpool, and Arne Slot's the one to prove it. But for now, I digress a little bit. Diaz, Jota, Salah. That front line is enough to win in Premier League. I'm sorry, that is enough to win in Premier League, because Jota the Slotter can hit a high goal tally if he stays fit. Now that is the crucial thing. If Jota stays fit, he's also a weapon off the bench, and that's what I want to explore as well. Salah will always start, because metric goal king Salah always starts if he's bang on form, and he is the only one in this whole team who is the consistent goal threat because of his appearance rate. Hamstring injury aside, and I hope he doesn't get a reoccurrence of a hamstring injury, he looks fit, he looks fresh, he looks mean with that haircut. He's the one that scores goals, but he is playmaking from this position as well, from the inside channel. So he does rely on someone to be the legs in and around the outside, whether it's this guy, whether it's Conor Bradley, whether it's Trent Alexander-Arnold, giving him facilitating there, which means Szoboszlai goes in and around the outside. And I really think that's a ploy that you will see as well. I think that is how you get the best out of Szoboszlai, by inverting him into that position, which means Salah, more or less, is the pseudo extra midfielder, which means these guys have to do a job. I'm assuming that's McAllister, and that's Endo, Big E, Endo, and Mac Attack for now, to facilitate Szoboszlai going there or going in that position, Conor Bradley bombing up and down, or Trent Alexander in that half space, in the wing back, in the double pivot. But we're looking at forwards in this particular role, okay? So let's bring Szoboszlai back. Salah, we know what he's going to do, shoot across goal. His front post shot is actually rather weak. I don't think he scores many there. He does poach in and around that area, which means he needs someone to benefit from this line here. Okay, Jota can go either way, but predominantly he comes in from the left. Similar to Nunez and Gakpo, from this position they drift to the left, which is okay because Diaz can operate in this half space, which he always does. Jota going out wide, Diaz shooting cross goal, his bread and butter. But I want to see Diaz rocket some, not a curler. I want to see him smash some here, and Salah going for the spoils, or playing Salah in that diagonal ball, Salah coming to it, and not a fumbled daisy cutter roller into the goalkeeper. Prominent smash into the side of the net, okay? Jota can go out wide with the silkworm dribble. He goes in and out, very, very deceptive. In and out, does some of his best work here. I think Jota is also very prominent on this line as well. The 10 line, the Mo Salah line from the left position. Because from this position, do you remember his diving header to play the players through? That was amazing. He's actually pretty effective playmaking from here. Salah is effective playmaking here. But can Diaz act as the number 9, the false 9? Is he reliable in a one-on-one? I'd probably say no. He's yet to prove me wrong. Can he be effective as the top man? It says no to me, which is why you want Jota running through the lines, rounding the keeper, slotting it through. So, replace Diaz with a Gakpo, and what is the difference? Now, if this was Sadio Mane here, that would be an absolutely brutal front line, because you have aerial dominance and aerial threat, and what you have from Gakpo, they don't have from Lucho Diaz, is the whipped cross to the back post, okay? He is so good at coming into this arc and whipping it, get the side foot undercut so it curves and dips, and then you look at Sadio Mane to beat the man at the back post, diving header, in it goes. Salah is not a Mane in the air, but Jota could be. So if you have Salah in and around the half space there, and you have Jota there with a Conor Bradley or Szoboszlai waiting for the spillage, that could be an avenue there that you look at, right? Because Jota in the air is pretty dominant. He can run in front of the defender, he can beat the defender at the back post. Anything that drops, touch on the sixpence dead and shoot. He's got composure to bring it down, jink, cut inside and shoot across as well. Jota is who you want in these positions, but he can't always stay fit. And Nuñez is quite effective in the air in that position as well, which is why I want to look at a right winger who can be the aerial threat, who can play the false 9 role, who can play the number 9 role, who can play the dummy runner role, and can run around the outside. Now that's a big, big ask of a right winger who can do all those things, but he doesn't have to be mature and facilitate all of those functions at once. He can grow into the role, but he needs the attributes to do that. Now the first one you look at is a bit of a tank, a bit of a power cube, who's not small like Shaqiri, but actual unit, is Bakayoko, okay? Now just before we get to Bakayoko, I'm going to mention Jayden Danns, credit to Jayden Danns as well. He can be a poacher, but I don't think he's as good out wide as Jota. He'll do a role, he'll work his arse off. He's more like a Barini out wide in a way that he doesn't have the attributes to really operate out wide, but he will try, he'll harry, he'll work hard, but he's a poacher of all types of finishing, so I want to see us play with players close to Jayden Danns and try to slip him in. And I think Arne Slot's system is really, really good for Nuñez and Jota in a way that they'll be slipped in, but Gakpo on the outside also has the ability to go around the outside that I don't think Nuñez or I don't think Lucho Diaz has, because Lucho Diaz gets into their area and he'll hit the first defender, or he won't pick out someone, or he's weak, much weaker on the left foot, whereas Gakpo can drive it across, can pull it back, in the same way that Nuñez, with a straight run on the perpendicular, is really good at hitting it across, and Salah smashes it in as well. Nuñez on that perpendicular run, Gakpo on the outside run, has composure and technical ability, being Dutch as well, to pick someone out. So that is the avenues that I think you're going to look at. I don't really like Gakpo in this position, because I don't think he has the attributes. He likes to have the ball to feet and move with the ball. He doesn't like to run onto the ball in the same way that Darwin Nuñez does. He prefers the ball to feet. Now, to feet means a Firmino dropping in deep roll, but we don't have the dummy runners in the system to run in and behind. Szoboszlai could do it, but we haven't seen it enough. He should turn into a Lampard-style player, late runner, dummy runner, hard shooter, but haven't seen it enough, right? So unless we get that specialised number 10 who can do it, a Kaká, an attacking midfielder, or Fabio Carvalho can do it, then I don't think Gakpo really suits that position. So I think it's more likely you probably see Salah in that position, poaching, creating, playmaking, back to goal, physicality, than you would do a Gakpo. Jota on the right hand side is marginal. He doesn't really do the silkworm dribble on the right so much, but he's an effective player in the way that he can make that late run to the back post, that headed attack as well, and you get more aerial threat with a Szoboszlai Jota combination than you do with a Salah. Lucho Diaz on this side is quite effective, surprisingly effective, because he will attempt to go around the outside, because his left foot, he's not crossing it deep, at least effectively, and he's not shooting effectively with his left foot. So you can encourage him to go in and around the outside, but you're going to rely on a McAllister more than a Szoboszlai, more likely, slipping him in between the fullback and the central defender to go around the outside and doing something in this position. I really want to see Diaz hit the higher numbers in assists and goals, because he's so capable of it. He carries Colombia on the shoulders on many occasions, but for Liverpool, he's just not hitting the metrics that you'd expect for someone of his ability, and we hope Arne Slot can pull that out. Salah in this position will drop deeper like a Firmino, pick it up, but the issue with Salah is his right foot is so much worse than Roberto Firmino's left foot at playmaking, at touch, at everything. Okay, so I don't want to see that too much, which goes back to the conundrum. Are we okay? We are okay if Jota is fit. Jadon Danns on occasion can come in as well. Who else have we got up front for that particular role? It's looking sparse. Now this front line will win games. Gakpo on the left will win games. You put Lucho Diaz on the right and Gakpo on the left, it'll win games, but it's all reliant on Jota staying fit. Against the minnows, against the lower league opposition, you can have an interchangeable one and you probably get goals spread out through the team. Van Dijk can pitch in with goals. Szoboszlai will pitch in with goals. McAllister will pitch in goals, as will Gravenberch and Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott on here is very interesting, because I actually think Harvey Elliott can go around the outside better than Salah, and he's more composed in picking someone up here than Salah, and he's a better crosser than Salah, which is a little bit iffy to say, but Salah has a floated ball. Salah can pick someone out. Salah's got that left-footed outside curler into the box as well, but Harvey Elliott is more versatile as a playmaker, I would say, because he's predominantly more of a playmaker. You can see Elliott playing in 8 position, but you can't see Salah playing in 8 position, and that says a lot. So who can go in the right wing position? Who can go in the right wing position to really fulfill our attack? I mentioned Bakayoko. Now Bakayoko is a unit, and he likes a dribble as well. He likes a dribble. His first touch isn't always assured, but he is a high potential player who can attack the opposition fullback, but he's not as pacey as Jeremy Doku. He's not as direct as Jeremy Doku. He won't scare the living bejesus out of an opposition like Jeremy Doku would, but he's an interesting one in that he's got a good shot. He identifies a pass. He can cross. He can beat the man on occasion, but he's more likely going to be playing a short passing game until he gets into a prominent position to really give it a go. So I don't think Bakayoko is the one to really win you the Premier League. He'd be a good backup to Salah, but I don't think he's the one to win you Premier League. Now, I've talked about Takefusa Kubo already. Kubo-san. I think Kubo is very interesting in the way that Kubo is a better playmaker than Salah. He's faster than the current Salah. He's dribbling. He'll take a man on better than the current Salah, but he's very hit and miss, and he's one of those that you're waiting for him to explode, waiting for him to statistically get up to the marginal dominance that top players have, right? He's not there as a Bernardo Silva. He's not there as a David Silva yet. Probably similar to Juan Mata kind of level. Harvey Elliott, I think Takefusa Kubo and Harvey Elliott are interchangeable in what they can do, but Takefusa Kubo is probably better as a 10 than Harvey Elliott was. Harvey Elliott roams from a wide position into the central position. Now, Takefusa Kubo played for Barcelona, played for Real Madrid in the youth levels. You don't do that without having something about you. I think he's ready to explode, but we've already done a video on that. So who else can fit in that right wing position? Now, we've got to look at realistic options, to be honest. Now, one of those that's realistic is Federico Chiesa. Chiesa at Juve. Now, Chiesa is coming off a really bad knee injury, which is what makes him achievable. Now, sometimes you've got to look at the bigger picture. Quality player with a bit of risk. This is how we got Thiago Alcantara, and I know the injuries didn't quite work out in terms of move. He was expensive as well, but sometimes it's a feel-good feeling when you sign such a big player, injury, sick note or not, when you sign such quality. Now, Federico Chiesa has a high ceiling. He's got pedigree. He can score. He can play against the biggest opposition. He's got the mentality and the fortitude. Cutting inside as well, he's effective, but around the outside, he's effective. He's a unit, and he's pretty decent in the air as well. He could be worth taking a risk on as an alternative to Mo Salah to really give you that option there. But one player I really like the look of, and he's more close to home, is Bryan Mbeumo. Now, his improvement season upon season, playing for Brentford as well, right? Him and Ivan Toney. And Ivan Toney's suspended season. Mbeumo has been a real live wire. Now, Johan Bakayoko can be a live wire, can take the man on, but this guy really is direct. And the thing with Mbeumo that makes him more of a fit than Bakayoko, and more of a fit probably than Kubo in the system, in transitional play, he's clinical. He's getting the assist up. He's getting the goal scoring feats up. He's going into the right position. He took responsibility in the absence of Ivan Toney as well. He used to the Premier League. The fee will not be outrageous. He almost reminds me of the Sadio Mane at Southampton before we got Mane and turned him into that world-class superpower. Bryan Mbeumo is ready to explode, and I think in this lineup, giving him time to settle in the absence of Mo Salah, different type of player, playmaker from out wide, Mbeumo is the one you want on the end of chances. He can run in behind and he can make the chances as well. He's Premier League proven, and it wouldn't cost an absolute fortune. You probably look at 60-65 million to tempt him away from Brentford. Really important player, but he is versatile. He's a versatile forward I think could really make an impact on the Liverpool lineup, and he wouldn't look out of place. You put him in there and he would not look out of place, and the fact that he plays on the right hand side and can play across the line as well, and can play in a forward, and can be the last runner, can be the dummy runner, can be the shadow striker as well. Why are we not really hearing so much about Bryan Mbeumo? I think, for me, I'd be delighted with Bryan Mbeumo signing. And I thought Elise would have been a good one as well, you know, bearing his injury period as well. But obviously he's gone to Bayern Munich. And the other one is so expensive. If Jarrod Bowen comes in, he's the like-for-like replacement for Mo Salah. Coming inside from the right wing, left foot. But he's got a better shot than Mo Salah. The only problem is expensive. Very expensive. And will he want to leave as well? And with that price tag bearing down on him, I don't want none of the Stuart Downings. He's better than Stuart Downing ever was. But Jarrod Bowen would need to make an impact to justify his fee, and he would be your marquee signing. And basically at that fee as well, how can you not start him? But how do you start him when you have Mo Salah there as well? So that's the only issue. And Jarrod Bowen, surprisingly, can play as effective 9 as well in Moyes' system, dropping it into the spaces. But the thing that really impresses me about Jarrod Bowen, his right-footed delivery, even though he's left-footed, is pinpoint on the money. He shoots clinically with the left, whether it's a curler, whether it's a straight shot, whether it's a cheeky shot. He's a hard-working player, and he's homegrown as well. So for me, he would be worth 90, 100 million that you pay for him. I would sign him as a marquee signing, but more realistically, Bryan Mbeumo, a bit more pacey, a bit more direct, a bit more raw and unpredictable, but both of them are Premier League proven, and that means a lot to me. And let's give a mention as well to Jayden Danns. Jayden Danns, to me, strikes me as a plucky poacher. He hasn't got the greatest pace in the world. He hasn't got the greatest hold-up play in the world. He's got the funky hair, which offers something unique about him as well. Trent burst onto the scene, normal hair, then became the funky hair. The Trent we know now is a tank. Jayden Danns could grow into that kind of power cube as well. He's a poacher. He's got finishes of all type, but he's not the most pacey, but he's got predatory instincts, and that kind of player always has a role. I think Danns and Jota off the bench are weapons, because some players, even though their quality as a starting player, offer something unique off the bench. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? Chicharito, Davy Fairclough, Diogo Jota. They have the super sub role, because that really means something. Some players for the last 20 minutes come on and make the impact players. And you do need options off the bench to win you a game when things aren't quite going right, when the tactics aren't quite set properly, when a player is having an off day. You need someone to steal that goal to win you the 3 points and move on to the next match. And Diogo Jota, as good as he is on a pitch, really has a part to play off the bench on occasion as well, because he is a super sub. And even though Darwin Nuñez came on against Newcastle and turned the match, I think Nuñez needs some momentum, needs to build up some chances, needs a lot of chances to really become the game winner. So perhaps he needs to be a starter, similar to Cody Gakpo, similar to Lucho Diaz. Mo Salah is actually pretty effective off the bench, but he's a starter really, isn't it? He is high caliber, elite tier player, and he won't be happy on the bench as well. So Jayden Danns and Diogo Jota, good options on the bench, but I think we need a first starter rotator for up front and for the right wing, as I mentioned. But hey ho, I have full faith in Michael Edwards and Julian Ward and Richard Hughes to identify these kinks in the Liverpool attacking armoury and resolve them before preseason. Give him a proper preseason in the slot so he can fit into the slot machine. And hey ho, we go again. Needs a fast start. I'll do the Arne Slot anthem very, very soon. An RPG, JRPG, Final Fantasy style tribute to Arne Slot. Make sure you watch that video because I doubt that video will do well in the YouTube algorithm. But hey ho, I don't care. All about substance and abundance, content, tactics, entertainment, footytainment. That's what we're all about here. Subscribe if you haven't already. Smash the like. Helps the video get seen. I'm doing the Wataru Endo Duel Chapter 2. Translation this week as well for all the members. Sign up if you haven't already. Same price as an average cup of coffee a month. And quick word for England tonight as well against Spain in the Euro 2024 finals. Come on England, bring it home baby. Bring home the bacon, the 3 lions on the shirt. Any given day, anyone can win. This is a final, it's a toss of the coin. England have the world-class players that don't need to listen to Southgate. Foden, Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, Harry Kane, Mainu does a job in the middle, Declan Rice, Ice Baby can do a job, Gay at the back alongside John Stones who's a technical marvel, little T-Rex at the back, you know he's a bit of a weak link, but that side Kyle Walker on the decline as well. Luke Shaw probably needs to start to give balance because Trippier hasn't been on it, but Trippier's leadership qualities and speaking players through the match is somewhat of a flaky argument but could be effective as well. But this team has got Trent Alexander-Arnold off the bench. Ollie Watkins should start, but Harry Kane being the captain will start of course. Ivan Toney, penalty maestro as well. Anthony Gordon ready to run at the opposition from the left wing. Eberechi Eze, absolute flair playmaker, JJ Okocha style. I love it. They've got options in the middle as well. Wharton hasn't even made an appearance, but he is good at the base of the midfield. Conor Gallagher running around like a headless chicken, but provides some energy to close down opposition. The thing is, if you have someone like Conor Gallagher pressing Rodri and Rodri beats his press, then you've got a Gallagher out of position. Now even if Gallagher's in that higher position, you get the ball to him as a number 10, he's not quality enough to break through that Spain backline anyway. So I think you play with your quality players, you play with your Trent, you play with your Bukayo Saka, you play with your Bellingham, you bring on your Watkins, Ivan Toney in injury time if you need it to hold up the ball, to flick the ball on. I think there's lots of options here. Anthony Gordon to run at the opposition. England have the quality to make the difference. If you need a Concert or Gomez to come on to hold the line as well, they can do it, inverting into the base, extra man to the base of midfield. Pressing Rodri will be key, but it's how you do it as a team and blocking his passing channels that will make a difference because he isn't the only ball player in that Spain team, right? Him and Fabian Ruiz at the base is formidable in terms of shielding the opposition, playmaking from deep, progressive passes, breaking lines, and when you get out to Nico Williams, right? And Lamine Yamal out wide, wow, attacking straight away. Kyle Walker needs to be at his best to keep them under wraps, as does Luke Shaw or Kieran Trippier. You'd probably provide Luke Shaw a bit more credit there. Coming off the injury, left-footed, balanced, defensively fairly solid as well. But that back line, you can get at them. Cucurellas had a great tournament, but you can get him. Aymeric Laporte isn't the same Laporte of old, which is why he got sold by City, right? Unai Simon at the back, I don't think is the most solid goalkeeper in the world. Reliable, but not upper echelons. Morata is bang average, but he does a role, does the dirty work for the team, kind of like a lesser Benzema. And Dani Olmo has high highs and low lows, peaks and troughs. Hopefully he doesn't turn up on the day. But I think this England team have enough quality to bore them out, suffocate them, and really try to make the quality count. When you have Jude Bellingham dominating La Liga, right, that puts yourself in good stead. He is the one that grasps the games by the scruff of the neck, and I think he might be the difference maker. A Bellingham goal is probably on the cards, and I think Bukayo Saka, outstanding talent. He really, really can take the game by the scruff of the neck, drive at them with intent and purpose. And to show my appreciation for England, I forgot to open this during the course of the video. Let's put the kit on and see what we're dealing with. I love my Liverpool merch. I'm buying a lifetime supply of vintage merch from Mercari Japan because secondhand doesn't really mean secondhand in Japan. It's quality goods. What have we got? It's yellow. It's mellow yellow. It's Carlsberg. It's classic. I know this top. Looks a little bit large. What size is this? I actually say the size, but it's made by Runner. How badass and retro can you get? Mellow yellow for England. Don't show none of that yellow belly cane. Show your spitefulness like a lemon. Aha! This is actually quite silky. This is interesting. I don't have many yellow clothes for obvious reasons. I'll become way too yellow. Like a lemon. No name on the back, but it will do. It's actually really comfortable. This is actually really breathable and comfy. It's hot here in Miyazaki, Japan. It's like nearly 34 degrees. I'll take it. Miyazaki man, Ichiban. Until next time, Janet means peace.